Do you know that amid the vast universe, human beings appear like a brief wave in an infinite ocean of energy? Humans are not only a tangible entity, but a temporary stream of energy taking form through the convergence of karma and conditions. Within this body, a silent flow operates from awareness down to the smallest movement. It does not stand still but continuously arises, functions, and dissolves according to natural cycles. When we live without seeing this flow due to a lack of mindfulness, we are swept away by fear, absorbed in craving through ignorance, and worn down before we even realize it. Only when we learn to pause and look beyond the ego do we learn how to merge with the larger rhythms of life. Through clarity, we learn how to observe, to hold when necessary, and to let go when the time comes. And from there, the human journey of arising, abiding, changing, and dissolving is illuminated within the impermanent flow of the universe. Hello everyone, I am Tan from the meditation practice sharing channel Lotuszentan. In this video, I want to share so that we can see more clearly how we exist and peacefully practice merging into the vast flow of heaven and earth. To be calm and at ease when we are no longer shaken by the waves of ignorance and pulled as we were before. Take a moment to sit down, stabilize your body. There is no need to adjust your posture too much. Simply allow your body to sit in the most natural way, and recognize that right now you are here, breathing, living, and sensing. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. Through the stillness of observing the in-breath and out-breath, we then sense both body and mind moving through each breath to realize one thing. We often habitually think of ourselves as a separate individual, a solid body existing independently in this world, but if we observe more deeply, we will realize that we are actually a temporary energy being taking form, composed of very familiar elements of this earth such as earth, water, wind, and fire. And all of these elements do not truly belong to anyone individually, but are merely gathering for a short period of time to create what is called a human being. The solidity you feel in the body is the continuation of the earth. The warmth within you is the quiet presence of the energy of fire. The blood and bodily fluids are expressions of water, and each in-breath and out-breath is the wind moving and transporting energy within you. And when we look in this way, the boundary between human beings and nature gradually becomes softer, lighter, and less fixed. Within this temporary form, there always exists a continuous operational flow that most of the time we do not notice, which is the flow from awareness to the functioning of the entire body, from very subtle signals in the brain spreading through the nervous system, to the heartbeat, the breath, the expansion and contraction of organs, and countless processes continuously taking place to sustain life. You do not need to command the heart to beat, nor remind the lungs to inhale or exhale. Because the mechanism of life already knows how to operate its own reflexes. And in this moment, you only need to recognize that this flow is happening, supporting you, allowing you to exist naturally. When we live without being aware of this inner operation, we often use body and mind like a forgotten machine, still functioning but lacking care and listening, and gradually fatigue, tension, and imbalance quietly accumulate before we realize it. It is not because life is too harsh, but because we have been accustomed to drifting away from ourselves for too long. Accustomed to reacting through habits, pressure, and desire, forgetting to return to observe. How we are operating each day and how to deeply feel each moment of happiness and peace. When the inner flow is not seen, it becomes rigid, consumes more energy than necessary. Like a river blocked by sharp bends and invisible obstacles. Causing the water to no longer flow smoothly and gradually erode its own riverbed. Or that river is pulled by the excessive force of a flood, making it rush violently and unable to remain at ease. We return to the breath when we notice emotional disturbances arising or thoughts becoming tangled. To return to observing and sensing the body and mind. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. We are pushed by external energy flows that carry our emotions away without knowing why. We are unclear when habits first appeared and become entirely dependent on them. To truly understand ourselves, we not only need to look at how we operate internally, but also need to expand our view beyond ourselves. To see that we are drifting together within many different flows of life, the flow of time, of relationships, of society, of nature, and of ever-changing circumstances. When we stop trying to control everything according to personal will and begin to learn how to gently merge into these flows, we feel the natural support of life. Like relaxing the body to float on the surface of the water instead of tensing against the river. Everything in this universe, from distant stars to the smallest cells in your body, is operating according to the cycle of arising, existing, changing, and dissolving. And human beings are no exception to this law, even though we often forget it when we cling tightly to what feels familiar to the sense of self. In each passing moment, we cling tightly to thoughts and external phenomena that have already passed or imagine events that have not yet arrived. And emotions then operate in an unmindful way following those phenomena. We often unconsciously cling to images, emotions, and phenomena appearing in the body as well as in the mind, seeing them as a fixed part of who we are. When a pleasant or unpleasant sensation arises, we quickly identify with and cling to it without realizing that it is only a state that is passing through. We cling to images in memory, stories about ourselves and the world that continue to be held, repeated and nourished by long-standing psychological habits. Even external phenomena, such as the words of others or surrounding circumstances, are easily pulled inward and tightly bound with personal emotions. This clinging causes the natural flow of body and mind to become heavy, rigid, and lose its flexibility. When we refuse to let go, we continue carrying what has already passed, and unknowingly limit our own freedom and lightness in the present moment. A single mindful breath can also bring relaxation to the body and mind, making letting go less difficult. A gentle, slow, and deep breath can immediately dispel pressure if we place our attention on it. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. With concentration, we return to the body and mind to continue observing them. Suffering mostly does not come from change itself, but from our refusal to accept that change is the natural nature of all phenomena. And when we resist this flow of arising, abiding, changing, and dissolving, we create tension in our own mind and body. Through clarity, we gradually realize that ignorance is like a thin veil covering awareness. Causing us to see everything through the lens of fear and craving attachment. And when this veil is looked at directly, it naturally dissolves without needing to be pushed away, making it easier for us to let go. Clarity is not something lofty, but simply the ability to see clearly what is happening without adding anything. Without avoiding, without grasping, so that we can merge into the vast impermanent flow of life with a lighter attitude. Not overly intoxicated by pleasure and not overly fearful of loss. Practicing meditation in daily life does not mean forcing oneself to endure or withdraw from the world, but learning to recognize what to do when previously favorable conditions are lost. When things no longer go according to our wishes, and when life presents new and more difficult challenges. Meditation is the ability to face things with awareness, flexibility and response, and the wisdom that helps us adjust our direction without losing inner calm. When observing ourselves, we begin to clearly see the energy flows we are participating in. Some flows need to be held to nourish life, and some flows need to be gently released so we are not carried too far because we cannot resist them. And the subtlety lies in knowing when to hold and when to let go. Gradually, this observation is no longer an effort but becomes a natural state of awareness, where we are no longer completely identified with thoughts, emotions, or our roles in the world. And then, in those quiet moments, the boundary between I and the universe becomes blurred. Awareness expands, no longer limited by form or personal stories, leaving only silent, vast, and peaceful presence. Take a few breaths to feel this open space without naming it, without understanding it intellectually, simply staying with the sense of quiet that is present, and allowing the flow of life to continue passing through you gently and naturally, just as it always has. Please pay attention. Each breath is like a cycle of awareness of arising and dissolving because it brings different intensities of emotion. A strong, fast, and rapid breath may be a moment of high focus, joy, and excitement, but it can also be fear, confusion, and anger. A gentle, even, and deep breath always brings a sense of softness and comfort. Inhale, gently follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose and notice your belly softening and sinking. Meditation is not only sitting quietly and breathing. Meditation is through the breath, recognizing how activity in the body and mind arises, and from there being able to transform awareness to change habits. When old habits are gradually released, in that very moment, the breath has already brought new mindful habits, bringing peace that previously, without attention, we could hardly notice in order to change. The practice of meditation is not extreme ascetic training, but requires clarity to recognize things, so that we know what to do to face difficulties when favorable conditions or mental support suddenly disappear. Through each breath in meditation practice, we observe ourselves and the energy flows in which we are operating, to hold and gently release when necessary, so that in the end we merge into a universal flow of boundless, silent, and peaceful awareness. And when we have arrived at a place of safety, whenever helplessness or imbalance appears, we already have a place to return to. Meditation heals emotions that we were previously entangled in and unable to resolve. Meditation also gives us mindful vision to walk peacefully wherever we may be in this world. The journey in the game of breath will become more and more fascinating if you truly cherish it. This practice, just like a habit, is a key to unlocking every doorway within your body and mind. So keep watching and keep practicing with me in this video and the ones to come. If you have any thoughts or reflections, feel free to leave a comment below. And if this video helped or inspired you, please click like, subscribe, and share it with others. Thank you.